Yeah, this is like the back door to Lake Eleanor. I've never been up here in the fall.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, good afternoon. Good late afternoon. It's about 4:40 p.m. in early October here in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm back just outside of Mount Rainier National Park on my way to Lake Eleanor. This is actually the call it the backdoor entrance to Mount Rainier and Lake Eleanor. You actually enter from the National Forest side off of Forest Service Road, which drops you into Lake Eleanor on the east, northeast corner of Mount Rainier National Park. Pretty late in the afternoon. I'm here with another photographer, a friend of mine who's here for the week doing some photography, Diego, and so I'll link to his channel there. But yeah, we just had some time this afternoon and thought, why don't we go out and try to shoot something. There is some fall color about, but I'm not sure we can actually make it to Grand Park, which is our objective. That's about a 3-mile walk in, but if not Grand Park, at least Lake Eleanor may offer some beautiful fall compositions potentially. And so this is not really a sunset side of the mountain, but with any luck we'll get some filtered light or some get some branch there, get some filtered light or some interesting contrast with the fall color. So working our way up trail, and I'll check in a little bit. So a quick update. We passed Lake Eleanor back a ways, and there were some compositions there, but the allure of the Grand Park meadow with fall color drove us onward and upward. It's gotten considerably cooler. I would say it's probably just above freezing. So actually it's a little bit of a crapshoot on our way to Grand Park. Starting to see some hint of snow here, left over from last week's snowstorm. So anyway, 5:30. We have an hour and 10 minutes before sunset. So it's a race against the clock. Hopefully we can make it. Well, this is Grand Park, and so it's as I said below, it's a little bit of a race against the clock. It's 5 minutes after 6. I got some really excellent light on the left side on these trees here. I want to capture that mountain framed. I got a blocker over here, so I'm already seeing the composition. So I need to get my stuff out, work quickly, and hopefully take advantage of this light and take advantage of these conditions before they disappear. So working quickly. So I've stopped here really quick, put on my jacket because it's getting a little cooler. This composition, not the best, but not the worst, right off the trail here. I'll talk you through it really quickly, and then I'm going to go on up to see if I can scout anything out before we lose the light. It's 6:15, so got 30 minutes left before, or 25 minutes left before sunset. So this composition, group of trees on the left-hand side that are catching some evening light. One blocker tree on the right-hand side that keeps the eye from wandering out of frame. That tree is really important because from the center of the frame, I'm using the trail as a leading line to lead you up to Mount Rainier, which is roughly centered in the composition. And Mount Rainier is catching some evening light. There's a lenticular cloud on the summit, and so it's illuminated quite nicely. I'm going to take 2 exposures. One, I'm shooting this at f9, and so the first exposure I'm going to underexpose for the detail in the sky, and then the second exposure I'm going to expose correctly for the shadow detail in the mid and foreground. Both of those at f9. Yeah, it's a nice picture. I don't think it's going to win any awards, but at least I'm glad I was able to make it up here and at least feel a little productive this evening and get something in the bag. I'm going to go on up trail and see what else I can find. So I made my way up to a little bit further to the top of the ridge that I was just below, which gives me a better perspective of Grand Park. There are some, so from Ptolemy Peak, you can see the lookout tower all the way to the northwest side of Mount Rainier. There's still some excellent evening color right now, which is just screaming panorama. So I've spent some time and I have leveled my tripod. I'm going to get my composition set. F9, you need to be in manual mode always for a panorama. I'm scanning across the composition to make sure that my electronic level in the camera stays level the whole time. That's a backup to the bubble level that I've already leveled. I'm getting the color right now, so I need to hurry. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this panorama. I have the 24-70 on, and this is about 40 millimeter, and I will probably do some cropping in post, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take this, focusing a third of the way through the frame, F11 for depth of field, and let's see how this turns out. Well, I'm pretty happy with that panorama. I can't overstress enough the need to make sure that your tripod is level and to double check your composition. Make sure you're in manual mode so that you don't want any exposure or settings changes between frames. That'll make it a nightmare to try or impossible to stitch together in post. And also double check the level using your internal level in your camera, just to double check to make sure everything is level. That gives you the most opportunity to crop when you get into to post-production. I've gone ahead and changed my camera back to landscape orientation, and I've switched the aspect ratio to 16:9 because I still have Mount Rainier catching some sunset color on the summit, and there's also a cloud that is illuminated just over the Fremont Lookout Tower, which is a popular destination outside of sunrise, which I can clearly see from here. And there's a cloud directly over Fremont Lookout Tower that helps to balance the composition. I really like this. I'm underexposing it and shooting it as a single exposure. I can bring out that shadow detail, what I need in post, using a 2-second timer. But with the cloud is really what makes this composition, because you have, you know, the large prominence of Mount Rainier on the right-hand side, and then you've got the Fremont Lookout Tower, which is a much smaller peak on the left-hand side. And without the cloud, the composition would be unbalanced. But the cloud's what makes it, and it's catching some beautiful evening color. God, what a great night to be out. You know, the first part of October, we're well into autumn. Sunset evening in Mount Rainier National Park in Grand Park. Just an outstanding afternoon. I'm glad I came. Okay, well, that's going to do it from Mount Rainier National Park, and you probably can't see it on this camera, but it's getting pretty dark. Got the stocking cap on, headlamp. Diego's back to retrieve his stranded M50, and he and I have a 3-mile walk out in the dark, and I'd say probably a quarter-mile of that trail is on the snow, so hopefully we can get past the snow before it's completely black. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, I always appreciate a thumbs up. And if you want to continue to get updates as I develop and explore as a landscape photographer, well, then at least consider hitting that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.